So, Kim, how are you? We Kim Roxie, Roxie, if you guys don't know, of LAMIK Beauty, is easily one of me and Diane's favorite people on the planet. And so we were excited that she said yes to this Instagram Live. Um, as a lot of you know, because we've been promoting that we have this wonderful webinar that we're excited about with NAF, National Alopecia Areata Foundation. And coming up on January 21st, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Um, um, and knowing Kim's journey, who I always call a bold, bald beauty. Um, but I know your story started somewhere, right? In terms of when you first got that diagnosis and your response was, and I know there's something you always say, Diane, in terms of wigs, right?
Yes, and that is, we know that not everyone wants to wear a wig. That's, it's not as simple as that. And so it was important for us to, just as our journey as entrepreneurs who are selling wigs, to make sure that we support women as the part of that social impact arm that we're so passionate about, letting them know that, and that's okay. You need to embrace who you are. And Kim, please share your story about your journey, because I think for anyone experiencing alopecia, and for those out there who haven't experienced, your story is so inspirational and educational as well. So I'm going to turn that floor over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, I'm so happy to see both of my phenomenal sisters here. Pam, who we got to spend so much time together when we were in Tulsa
Yeah.
for the Build in Tulsa Accelerator We Build. Diane, who is the just the instrument of the vehicle in which she has allowed her story to just change and transform people everywhere. Diane, I just admire you so much as well. And I know that, you thriving in the way that you thrive and y'all just being sisters and all of that just warms my heart a lot. I am a sister myself. And when I think about, hey, Terry, I see some people in the comments there.
Yes.
And please invite others to come on with us. This conversation is very inclusive. And I was excited about this conversation because hair loss, I never thought that, how you talk about like the young person, how people actually say, like when you talk like to your young self, I never thought I'd be sitting up talking about, hair loss. Like it's one of my pillars of
Right,
of
right.
distinction.
Right.
you know
Exactly.
So God is so funny, right? Of all of this stuff that kind of goes together. But this is life, and I was experiencing hair loss at a young age. I mean, in my 20s, I think it's a young age. But I've, since being in the community, I've met people who were born with hair loss, who experienced it at in middle school, and just
Mm,
at places and times in your lives where you're like, wow, okay. You had to
yeah.
be strong to overcome all of the things that kind of came with that shock and everything. But for me, it happened in my 20s, and I kind of ignored it for a long time. I kind of
Mm.
ignored it. I kind of was like, because to be honest, I love wearing wigs. So I love y'all's company so much. I love wearing wigs. I love wearing weaves. I love wearing anything I could change it up, do a new look.
That's right.
Yeah,
Um,
that part.
yeah, and so that was me, and at the time, and so then I did kind of because my hairstylist did say like, no, I'm really noticing this bald spot and this and that, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna go to a dermatologist. Went to a dermatologist. I went to a dermatologist that didn't look like me and wasn't so concerned, if you know what I mean. Just kind of gave me some Rogaine and sent me on my way.
Mm,
And anybody remember Rogaine?
I do. Oh yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it was kind of like that was my prescription, and then was like, okay, see you later. And I was like, this is not
Hi,
going.
Tanya. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you, Tanya. And so I was like, okay, this isn't it. So then finally in my 30s, I finally went to a dermatologist. After trying, I used to get shots in my head to try to get my hair to grow back. So I've gotten shots before. I've tried different things. And finally, I went to a dermatologist who did look like me and told me exactly which alopecia I had and everything. And I kind of got tired at the time because you go through different seasons, different phases. And at the time in my late 30s, I got tired of trying to cover up the bald spots. And because I wanted to wear my hair natural, because my hair grows in the back of my head. It grows in certain places, and other places it doesn't. And so then I was like, you know what? It was my mom had breast cancer, and before she passed, I shaved my head to raise money for African American women to get mammograms in Houston. And so, but I kept a little part of my hair. That's how much I was like, so I shaved most of it, and then I just kept like a little part, because a part of the bet was if we raised a certain amount, I would shave my head. And I said it on television in Houston and everything. And but I couldn't let go of a little piece of my hair. I was like, okay, I got to keep that, right? And so I remember my mom saying
Diane
to
knows
me,
that story, but anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
I was thinking that.
so, so, so Diane, you know what I'm talking about, right? When you
I
just like, oh,
absolutely know what you are
just a
talking
little
about.
piece. Yeah, just hold on to a little bit. And but I remember, I'll never forget my mom looking at me and saying, "You got the cutest head. You could be bald if you wanted to."
Mm,
I never forgot that she told me that. And my mom, we all have that person, or that small group of people who can speak to our soul, right? Who really sees,
absolutely.
yeah, sees us. And my mom said that, and that never left me. And so I remember the top of 2020, before the pandemic hit in the US, but this was like February. I decided to do this like self-love to myself. And I just went and got my head shaved. I didn't tell anybody. And I just, got my head shaved, and I came home, and my daughter was like, what? Like, kind of thing. But she was only like 4 years old at the time. But, but,
Who are you?
right. Who are you? But I went and did that. And that kind of started my journey on the side of like being bald. But then on top of that, being just accepting me for who I am. But it doesn't mean that I will not wear a wig. I've still worn a wig since then. So, but it is definitely something that I came into because I just wanted to have this radical self-acceptance.
That's right. That's right. And in that, was there still like apprehension? Was there still like this sense of feeling, I don't know if shameful is the right word, but self-conscious or whatever? Was it a journey
Mm-hmm.
to get to that place
Mm-hmm.
of self-acceptance?
Yeah, so I kind of took myself through the fire. I was definitely self-conscious. I was self-conscious just for me, like just definitely self-conscious. But those, people very close in my life were the ones who were like, yeah, it looks good. Like, whatever the case might be. But you start to I almost call it like these stages that you go through. It's like,
Mhm.
okay, I did it. Now it's like the shock factor. Everybody sees you. It's this
Mm,
shock factor that happens. Then you got to go through that. Then you got to go through all of your rebuttals. Well, why did you do that? Then you got to have a response for why, right? Like all these good things. And then I remember sometimes people are asking another person. I remember someone asking like family members, like, well, why did she shave her head? Why would she do that? Why
mm.
wouldn't she just, and it's like all of these things. So you feel like you have to respond to that. But yeah, I definitely think these stages. And it took me probably about a year and a half to maybe a little bit longer, to be honest, maybe about a year and a half, 2 years to come into this place. I remember when I turned 40. That's when it happened for me. So I shaved my head 2022, I turned 40. And that's when I was like, okay, you gotta like stand up on your own, like you gotta be okay with you. And so I would say, yeah, it took me about 2 years to kind of come from like the self-conscious sort of thing. One of the communities that was helpful to me was BaldyCon. Was
Hmm.
very helpful community
I'm
to me.
familiar with them. Yes.
Yes.
Amazing.
And NAF also, going to the NAF conference also was very helpful. Um, but yeah, it took about almost 2 years.
And then Mama's mantra in your head. Because Mama was right, first of all, Mama knows best. You do have the cutest little round head, and
I'm
you
gonna
look
say
amazing.
thank
Whether
you.
you are, rocking your bold, bald look or wearing one of those stylish hats that you love to
Oh yes,
wear,
yes,
or
yes.
wearing a wig. And,
Mm-hmm.
we really wanted our community to know, especially those who are dealing with permanent hair loss or,
Mm-hmm.
hair loss. And I'm not sure what alopecia diagnosis you got. Is it considered
Yeah,
alopecia areata or?
yeah. It's a couple of them. Alopecia areata, CCCA, and then there's another one that's around here, the scalp area. It's leaving me right now, the name of it, but it's like three different ones. So
Oh,
you can have like different versions of alopecia, and some of them are, just comes from the way that we wear and tear on our hair. For culturally, for Black women specifically, the way we style our hair. I remember going to my dermatologist saying that like a lot of Black women, I think the percentage was like 40%, something like that.
Traction,
Yeah, will have
traction.
CCCA because of
wow.
the way that we style our hair.
Our hair, yeah. Chocolate
Yeah.
mindfulness just said, I just learned there's more than one type. Thank you for this education. And I just learned that there's more than one type that what one individual can have on their scalp.
Yeah,
I
that
didn't
Mhm.
part I
realize
was
that.
somewhat unaware. But Kim, loving your story because it's making me think about my journey as a chemotherapy hair loss
Mhm.
patient.
Mhm. Mhm.
And um, knowing when I was going through chemotherapy, for those who may not know my story, I'm a breast cancer survivor and thriver, as I like to say. And
Mhm.
when I learned that I was going to lose my hair to chemotherapy, I was devastated and I was scared. Like I could not even imagine
And she
not
was one of
having
those ones.
hair.
I'm sorry not to cut you off, but going back to your comment, she was holding on. She was holding on
I
to the
was
strands.
holding on
She was just like,
when they knew, they told me that I had 2 weeks from the day, pretty much, and it happened 2 weeks from the day that I had my first chemotherapy treatment, that I would lose my hair. And I spent that 2 weeks searching for a wig because, like, there's no way that I'm leaving the house just for the vanity piece of it. And there was that part of it. I cannot tell a lie. But I had stopped straightening my hair a few years before. And I thought during this medical journey that I would continue working. I learned that I wasn't able to. And I didn't want to go into work with my hair, looking like this with textured hair. And then the next day go into work with a straight haired wig because I learned that these medical hair loss spaces were not carrying medical wigs with
Mhm.
highly textured hair or people who are interested in those styles. So that was my dilemma in that 2 week period.
yeah.
And to Pamela's point, as when my hair started falling out, I was so just caught up in that whole I'm about to lose my hair that I didn't get it shaved. It was coming out in clumps. I started putting
Her
the
partner
scarf
Victor
on and
kept
I might
saying, "You
have
want me to
a
shave it
strand of hair.
today? Do you want me to shave it
Yeah, I
today?"
was
She
like,
was like,
nope,
"No."
I was hanging on to every strand, and then I put a scarf on, and it'd be like a little strand hanging here, maybe one in the back, maybe nothing over here, but there was some hair hanging. So I was like, I got hair, people. I just have a scarf on.
My gosh.
That's how devastating and difficult this process was for me, and I think it's part of that journey. And it because I couldn't find a wig that looked like my hair that was the impetus for starting this business. But
Mhm.
getting back to the point of how right or wrong, and I really don't see any wrong, but we're tied to our hair in so many ways,
Mhm.
um, and we're raised to um, believe that it's a standard of beauty for women, and that if you don't have hair, then you're not as beautiful. Now, that is a subconscious message that you see, in marketing and all of these spaces, and your family and friends complimenting you on your hair. So, for me, a wig was important, um, and that's okay. But
And that's
what
okay.
we always talk about as we are building this business is everyone doesn't want a wig. We know that, and that is okay as well. You
Or
have
maybe they
to
just want one
embody.
sometime,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
they
Right.
want that, yeah, they want
yeah.
that
That
variety
part.
because that's how we rock and roll anyway as women of color, especially Black women. We love to change it up.
Yes.
So whether it's a wig or a weave one day, it's straight the one day, it's the Afro textured the next. And I do want to jump in there and say thank you, Kim, for being someone who can show up as your authentic self, bald, with a wig, a scarf, a hat, whatever you're feeling that day. But it's that, particularly for women who are having permanent hair loss, who may be at the beginning of their journey and are just devastated. And they
Mhm.
have to walk through that, of course. But knowing that there's organizations like NAF,
Mhm.
Baldycon,
Mhm.
that there are people like you that they can look to and be like, well, I got a head like hers. Let me go on and rock this,
And it's
Yes.
funny because
you
people told
know. So
me that when I lost my hair, they're like, "Oh, you look good bald." I did not believe it, and I don't believe it to this day.
she was like, I'm
I
not having it.
don't. Yeah, it's like I don't. That's how, like, you get into your head. And my daughter,
Yes.
who was a teenager at the time, she she helped me in many ways to embrace it because she would love to just rub my bald head. So she would sit next to me and just like put her hands and just like do this and that. It made
That's
me
I.
feel
Me
good.
too, Kim. I'm like, you can really make me cry. I'm like,
And I don't know, like and I would just say, "Oh, that, it bothers me that I'm bald." And she's like, "I like it." She would just say, "I like it." And
oh.
it was just so helpful to have
Well, shout
her
out to
tell me that.
Paige,
Shout out to my little Paigey
who I think is
Paige.
on this call. Paige,
She's
you
on
there?
this
I see
call.
you. I see you, Paige.
I think so.
Shout out to
Paige,
Paige.
Paige, as I like to call
Yes.
her.
I think that is.
She's
I think
28
that's
years
so
old, but
good.
I call her Paigey Paige. But anyway.
Right. Right. Always. Always mama's girl. Always. You know what I mean. Your baby. Your niecey poo, and all that.
That's right.
Um. I.
Oh, she
I
says,
think.
hey.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's really good because Paige, who is one of the most important people in your life, express that to you. And to your point, and that's why I love what you're kind of dealing with now, Diane, is the psyche of it all. Is that,
Yes.
it's like she's telling you that, why not believe it? Right? It's like, my mom told me that. Why don't I just believe that? Right?
Hmm.
Why do I believe a stranger, that I don't even know?
Mm,
You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? That whatever. But these are people who know me best or look at me, and I really care and value, right? And what I also learned was something really cool. And I see Melissa from Chocolate Mindfulness on here. She has a company that's all about mindfulness and wellness, but she uses
mm.
chocolate to kind of do it. She just had this really nice retreat, and
Oh, I
and
need to get with her. But anyway, I
yes,
digress. Go ahead.
You were sold on chocolate and
I
retreat.
know. Mindfulness and chocolate. Those
Yeah.
are two favorite things for me.
and she just had a retreat in the Cayman Islands. And but I bring this up to say sometimes even when we're about to embark on something like this, we might need to go away and retreat and sort of get ourselves together, because a lot of this is your psyche. A lot of this has to go on with what's going on inside your head, even with course lots. When I think about y'all are not just like this wig company. I don't really look at y'all like that. I look at you as a company that really has taken the time to take care of folks who a lot of times are not taken care of and are forgotten about and things like that. And so even with that, whether it be hair loss for cancer, hair loss for alopecia, hair loss for lupus, hair loss for thyroid disease, hair loss for all of these different things, hair loss for stress, right?
Yes.
Like whatever it is, medication. To your point, the psyche of it all and being able to find hair that is the same texture as the hair that you have is like so important. And retreating and sort of treating yourself in a way to where you're honoring yourself. You know, I honor myself enough that I'm going to research, I'm going to run across Coils to Locs, and I'm going to find this hair that looks like my hair. I honor myself that much. I honor myself that much that I am going to go and retreat and understand and see my beauty for more than what only I see, and sort of, and also accept my beauty for what it is fully. Because even when your hair natural, you go through the same thing. I know plenty,
Yes.
you know, Pam, all of this, like, you know, even accepting your natural state of hair, like a lot of women of color did not grow up believing that curly, kinky, coily hair, it was just nappy and that's it, right?
That's it. And you had to straighten it. You had to cover it up. You
You
had
had to
to
straighten it.
alter it in some
In
way
order to look
for it to look
professional, in
beautiful.
order to look beautiful,
Yeah.
we were brought up
Yeah.
with that
And that's
whole
the psyche.
psychological
That's the
Yeah.
thing.
psyche. That's the psyche. So this is all like breaking that down. And what I
Right.
discovered was I just was in an article with Vogue magazine probably about 4 months ago. And the article was talking about the title of the article was called What's the Wig? And basically it talked about how people, the article asked me questions around how do I become unbothered with what people sort of think of me and my hair changes or the way that I present. And basically, how am I supposed to sit up and think about how I present myself and think about others' reactions to that? That should be, I
Right.
don't have time for that. I
Right.
gotta I gotta remember to do so much other stuff. And
Exactly.
that 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 ain't one of them, that ain't one of them things. And so I I think about being in the beauty industry and having a makeup line, and we have a quote that says beauty is revealed, not applied.
I love that. Yeah. And it's a clean makeup line, people. Let's remember
Yes,
that. Let's
So
let's
yes,
let
note
me
that.
say this, Kim, too. What I love about your business is that you've made that connection in terms of like your business is not just a makeup business. You understand the trials and tribulations that often occur with things like hair loss. As I've shared with you during my chemotherapy journey, like when we, around the time that we met,
yeah.
that, you know, even though my oncologist said, oh, your hair's going to grow back, I still, to this day, I have big bald spots that I can cover up. Like, this is my hair, but I have bald spots all up here that I'm like always trying to arrange and make sure. I can't really cover it up. If I bent my head, you would all see it. But that's another story. Uh, but I lost my eyebrows and lashes, is my point. And they really, those areas never really grew back the way it
Mhm,
was, like only maybe
mhm.
10, 15%.
Yep,
And that was the other
yep,
struggle with hair loss
yep.
because it wasn't just on my head.
Yeah,
And
And then
yeah.
that's
so
yeah.
how do I, and I looked different, which made me feel different. And so one of the big things I was so concerned about was not having eyebrows. And so how do I draw on eyebrows? And Miss Kim, like I did learn a little bit, but I was doing that pencil with the thing and then
Tim would have
you
snatched you
know,
off the street
I
and been
was
like,
able
"Come
to
here,
like
come here."
and that's part of what you impart as part of
Yeah,
your line. It's not
That's
just
yeah,
like, you know, here's some eyebrow powder or here's some lipstick.
yeah,
You
yeah.
incorporate what
Yeah.
women in particular are feeling and thinking in terms of wanting to embrace their beauty despite
Mhm,
hair
mhm,
loss or
that's
because
right.
of hair loss. It doesn't even have to be despite. So,
mhm.
um,
Yep,
love the
yep.
work that you're doing that makes you different than, a lot of other companies that are selling makeup, because you're understanding that piece of
Mm-hmm.
beauty that
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, your
sometimes.
revolution. That wasn't a mistake, I guess. And Revelation Brow Duo was an outcome of your journey, right, with losing
Yes.
hair, right?
Yes.
So, and why that's like your hero product,
Mm-hmm.
in terms of hair loss.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what was funny was I was an esthetician, so I did eyebrows. So Diane, it's like you're losing the thing that you're known for, right? And so I'm known to, like your point. I'm happy we brought that back. That hair is your eyebrows, hair is your eyelashes, and I was losing my eyebrow hairs, and what that was like my calling card, and so for me it's almost not just a slash to your identity and what you look like now. It's like what you would think, like how you make a living, you know what I mean? Like all of those things, like you can't be that. And so making this brow duo was actually an answer to my own problem, but then also how I kind of showed how you can take what was supposed to break you and let it make you,
Mm,
right?
Like that.
Because because I could have sort of, been broken by that and not feel like I fit anymore. Felt like a what do you call it? When you kind of feel false or fake, like you're not really who you say you are, kind of thing. And
Imposter.
imposter. I could have felt like an
Imposter
imposter.
syndrome.
Yeah, I could have, and I did a little bit for a minute, and then I was like, I created this brow duo. So it comes with a brow powder. This is mine, one of mine, but it comes with a brow powder, and it comes with a concealer cream. So you take the brow powder, you just put it in your eyebrows here, and then you take the concealer and you put it underneath here, underneath the brow, just to highlight it. And I did that, and it just connected. And what I found, and that's why I found out so many other reasons why people lose hair. That's why I can name like all these different reasons, because people come in and tell me stuff. Yeah, well, I got thyroid problems, and it's like my hair stops right here. And, then somebody else come tell me, yeah, since I've been taking this blood pressure medicine, my hair been, haven't been growing so I'm hearing all these different things,
all of these things. Yeah. Yeah.
and I find out hair loss can come from all that. Um,
Yes. Hmm.
and so the brow duo is a way that we connect, and people use it who are dealing with hair loss or just want their eyebrows just to look better. And what I found when I was on HSN, I remember being like, I'm going to go on television with no eyebrow and I'm going to show how you do it. I'm going to take my eyebrow off
Mm,
and I'm going to show it. And I did that. And it just, we sold so much product that day. And what I recognize is that people just want to feel seen. And by showing up and, like you said, sometimes showing up with what you would call a flaw, even though it's not a flaw, but you
mm-hmm.
would show up with that or whatever, people can resonate with it, and it becomes bigger than you.
Hmm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And so it all once again ties back to the alopecia journey, because you are losing more than just the hair on your head, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of times with all of these different hair losses, I mean, one of the things that we discovered as we were early in our journey was all the ways that people lose hair, and that unfortunately nearly 50% of Black women in the US alone are living with some form of medical or non-medical hair loss, right?
Mm-hmm.
So and we have to remember that it's not just the hair on your head, it's the
Mm-hmm.
eyebrows and the eyelashes. And
Mm-hmm.
so, we support the hair on the head with Coils Locs, and you support the
Yep.
women in those other areas. And we all are coming from a lived experience. Myself with traction alopecia.
Yes,
I'm
that's the
good
one I was
at
trying to get to.
camouflaging. Oh, okay. which is the one that, because we, in particular as Black women, love to wear all these different styles, whether it's braids or whatever. My situation came as a teenager with those too tight cornrows back in the day. But, I have traction alopecia because of that, but also because I have this, this thick, kinky, coily good stuff. I'm able to
Mhm.
camouflage it a little better than some other
Mhm.
people may,
Mhm.
be
Mhm.
able to.
Mhm.
But we're grateful. I want to be mindful of the time. I know I told you 15 to 20 minutes. It's probably been 30, 45 minutes. But but we get to talking and the conversation is so juicy
So good.
and it's so good and we want people to learn. I hope people have learned and this is gonna live on the site as well on our page. So people will see this afterwards and I hope they really get something. I know they will get something from this conversation, especially people in the alopecia community who are whether they're at the beginning of their journey, the middle, at the end, because
Mhm.
it's
Mhm.
it's a process, right?
It
For
is.
some people, it took you 2 years. It may take somebody 5 years to get used to this, to where they are in terms of
Mhm.
acceptance.
And there are
Mhm.
people who don't care. They
And then
feel
there are
like
people who don't care right out the
it
gate,
took
right? They're
me
like,
no
well,
minutes.
yes.
I
Yes.
accept it. I'm embracing this. I don't care what other people think, and that's
That's
wonderful. So,
exactly right. And it's like today I'm wearing walking out with my bald head and shining, and tomorrow I'm wearing a wig down my back and say something to me. Because this is how it is. But
Yes.
I joke. I try to be. I'm trying to be funny, but it's real. That's real. Yeah.
It
mhm.
is. It is. It's very real, and it's all good. And to the point, some people kind of like we in our community. There's some women who are bald by choice, exclusively, like they just chose that, right? Like they just want that. Then a lot of times, like I said, you have like me. It's cold outside, so I put a wig on to warm this head up. This head is cold, and so you want to put some hair
I
on to
remember
do
that.
that. Yeah, yeah. You want to put
Oh,
some
Prophet
hair
Mindfulness
on.
said that's me. Um,
You want to put some hair on to warm up. But I just love what you guys are doing. I'm excited about y'all doing this NAF webinar January
Yes.
21st
January 21st, 7 p.m. Right?
Eastern
Eastern.
7
time.
p.m. Eastern time. I was
Eastern,
going to say
Okay.
yep,
6.
Eastern time. It's a Wednesday, January 21st.
Okay.
It's going to be a great webinar with NAF. We love that
Mhm.
community. The
Mhm.
leadership in that community they're just like
Yes.
so, they just bring so much education and
Yes.
wisdom and support and
Yes.
Very intuitive.
resources for the
Mhm.
community. So yeah, we hope everybody can join us on January 21st. Go
Yes.
over and check out and engage with Kim either at Kim Roxie
Yes.
or at LAMIK.
Let me
Go ahead
beauty.
and follow her and engage with her because she's doing, I can't even keep up with her.
No, me
It's
too.
like,
We
I'm
love
always
it.
She's
like,
all
where in the
over the
world is
place.
Kim Roxie? Um,
She does
and
say
she's
that a
usually
lot. She's
somewhere in
like,
the
where in the
world.
world is Kim Roxie? Because we see you all over the place. We see you, Kim.
I love it.
Yeah,
I
so
love
You're
it.
thank
making us
you for
tired.
everything you
Tired.
do. Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate it. I love it. I'm so excited about seeing the webinar myself and seeing how everything comes about. I'm so excited too because, again, you all are just like filling this gap. We got to do something again. We got to do some type of giveaway again. But with the
Hmm.
brows and the mascara and the being able to get that hair that looks like your hair is just so important. And I'm excited. So anybody watching this, you watching a replay, just know that these are two companies, Coils, Locs, LAMIK Beauty, who are really here to answer a need. We're not just here for vanity metrics. We're here because in the desperate moments, we were looking for something and had to make it. And so I am just so grateful that I get to be on this journey with you all. It motivates me at the same time, knowing that
Absolutely.
Thank
as
you,
someone
Kim.
else,
Thank you.
didn't have what they needed and they made it. And so I'm excited about what is to come and what'll be up next. And I can't wait to, us to do more things.
Thank you, Kim, and thank you
Thank
everyone
you.
for joining. We really appreciate all of you
Exactly.
for hanging on a few minutes longer than we said we would be on to engage with us. So
All
thank you.
right. Yes. And so we will see you out there in the world, Kim. Looking forward to doing something else together, like you said.
Yes, yes.
And we're the biggest champion of you. So keep it up and much love. And we'll see you
Yes.
guys again soon.